doing interviews. You'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas. I am with Joey Charafi from Stop the Traffic. I am so excited to have him on. It's an amazing foundation that I wish we didn't need, but we really do need, especially in Las Vegas, but across the world, honestly. So I'm so excited to have you on to talk about it, explain what you do, about some of the events you have coming up. As everyone knows, I'm an actor, and I know you even had a movie about it. So, I mean, there's so much stuff that you're doing to spread the word and get help, and I'm just really excited to have you on. So how are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, like I said, we're so excited to have you. When I learned about it, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to get him on immediately. So, but why don't you tell people a little bit about the foundation and how you actually even started it?
Sure. Well, Stop the Traffic Foundation is a 501c3, and it's geared towards ending child prostitution here in Nevada. So we have some of the highest rates of trafficking in the world and the United States. And we're geared towards helping prevent it with awareness, help kids and children who are in critical situations, help them get out of it, and then restoration. And so we also help with marketing with nonprofits who also are in the fight. And because not everyone has the same resources. And so we want to be able to help fight in that regard. And we also hold monthly events for charity for tried and true organizations that help fight against child trafficking in Nevada specifically. We have a number of different initiatives that we're working with the governor's office with about trying to detour child trafficking through technology. And you can go to our website, stopthetrafficfoundation.org, and you can kind of see these different initiatives with the X-ray trucks and the Safe Place initiatives, the AI hotlines, and such. So I made a movie after watching Sound of Freedom. I'm a filmmaker and a storyteller at heart, and I figured, ask God, what can I do to help in this situation, especially seeing Sound of Freedom and just being so an eye-opening situation where it's so heartbreaking. So what could I do? I wrote a script and I made a movie. And it took a couple of years,
I'm sure.
But we're super proud of it. It's in film festivals right now, so it's not released, but it tells a great story of two cops who were trying to find a little girl who was kidnapped in Las Vegas, and their clues lead them down a sinister path that open up a giant child trafficking ring, run by Satanists. So, so it's got definitely an interesting flavor if you like Die Hard or Lethal Weapon or like Training Day, Sound of Freedom. It's definitely that vibe.
Awesome. And so obviously, like I said, it just, no one really wants to talk about it because it's so devastating to think of and it's sick. But it's such a horrible problem. And I think finally people are starting to realize it a little bit more. But what made you actually go and say, I obviously, thank God you did, but what made you go and say, this is what I wanted to do?
Well, I knew I wanted to make a movie.
I
wasn't sure what it was going to be about. And then I had saw Sound of Freedom, and it affected me so deeply. And I wanted to do something. And it was like, what can I do? I'm a filmmaker. So I did research into it of how these predators work, and the different organizations, and how it's a huge billion-dollar organization in the world. And it gets so deep and so dark in different places. And so we tried to make a movie about it that was based in reality, but I guess didn't go as graphic as you probably could. It's a movie that definitely, if you think about it, it's definitely going to pull on your heartstrings, but we don't necessarily film anything that's,
of course,
outrageously sexually graphic or anything like that. It's more of an action flick with these cops trying to save this girl. So it's like the movie, the proceeds are going to help. Part of the proceeds are going to help go towards actual true organizations that help against child trafficking. So it's actually a movie that's like, if you go watch a movie and you support it, it's actually helping make a difference. And that is a complicated situation in its own, because you don't know if these big organizations are actually helping trafficking, or if they're actually part of exploiting children.
Yeah.
Because that's also been told by high-end organizations that have skin in the game. And so we want to try to vet and make sure that we're working with organizations that are actually doing what they say.
Good. And so did the movie come after the foundation, or did the foundation come from the movie, like when you actually started the Stop the Traffic?
So there was the movie, and then the book came out. Is out now, actually. So that's on Amazon.
I didn't know about the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that came out around the same time as a little bit after the script came out.
Gotcha.
But then the movie is now, again, in film festivals. So it's not released technically, but the foundation came technically after the movie was shot.
Okay.
But still, it's a process of editing, and then you go to
course.
screenings, and you go back and forth with notes. So technically, the movie was kind of shot and done when the foundation was going.
I see. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, it was really great because we got our 501c3 status very quickly. Like,
that's great.
We were told that this doesn't usually happen.
No, it doesn't. It takes forever usually.
We thought, wow, something then is on our side.
Yeah.
In that regard.
No, I agree. That's awesome. So how long has, since you made the movie, how long has this whole been? Like, because I know you said a few years, obviously. So since like you decided to actually make the movie and go forward, how long has this whole been?
So September 2023.
Okay. So, I mean, that's really not that long. I mean, the fact that you were able to get this all so quickly is incredible, honestly.
Yeah, it was definitely a work of a great small team.
Yeah.
And a great effort of a bunch of volunteers that came. Like over 250 people worked on this.
Wow. At
certain times, but we did have kind of a core team of like 5 people that we really worked with consistently. But yeah, that just kind of shows the heart and the spirit of, these Nevadans that come out and they support a cause like this. There is great people out there that believe that child safety is the main focus that we should be focusing on right now, especially with our high child prostitution and high human trafficking rates and our super low general education rates. Like we're like some of the lowest. So there has to be a correlation there.
Yeah.
It's like, are we grooming our children to become prostitutes? Like, and then where is that coming from?
Yeah.
And so I think that there needs to be a bigger discussion in that regard.
No, but that's why I think there is thankfully a lot of amazing foundations now that are working and starting to spread awareness. But like you said, you don't really know if they're actually like good people behind it, or if it's like more of a front, unfortunately. But I've been blessed, thankfully, to work with some of them. But it's just like it's so horrible. And like I said, you don't even want to think about it. And I think maybe that's why it is so kind of hush hush, because people are like, oh no, that's not real, or it's not like what we think, or it's not really going on, because they want to deny it. It's just denial, because it's the worst thing you could possibly imagine. It's horrific to think about, but we need to bring attention to it and show it is really going on. We don't want to talk about it, but we have to, because we need to save these children's lives,
Yeah, I think there was a documentary that a constituent of mine put on my radar called In the Devil's Eyes, or Through the Devil's Eyes. So if you want to look that up, see the trailer. What we're doing here to try to end child prostitution, I think, is not even touching the evil that is happening in Eastern Europe. I'm not sure how. I mean, I'm gonna keep this as classy as possible. But they can actually order children. It takes about a week for you to order them, and a lot of these people, they order the children so that they can. They'll sell them to a brothel, and if the child's not brutalized as much as it takes, I guess, to sell the organs on the black market, then that's where they'll go after. So if a prostitute doesn't want to have a child, they can pay the prostitute to carry the baby to full term in some cases. And you can let your mind figure out what that means. But in some cases to full term, and then they'll sell it to a brothel. And then again, if it's not brutalized as much as it would need to be sold on the black market, that's where it will be sold for organ harvesting. And this is something that people don't want to talk about, but you need to get your head out of the sand. You need to start realizing that this sort of thing can happen to us in this country if we let it go to a deeper level. There's children out there that are consistently being taken or being sold by their own family, drugged, sent across the border, and then from there, they're sent anywhere in the world. Sometimes it is for sex trafficking. Other times it's for indentured servitude. Real slavery exists now in this world. And so we are trying to fight against it. And part of it is that we have to have enough courage in order to speak about it.
No, I applaud you for it, because it is, like I said, it's just like truly the worst thing imaginable in the entire. It's the worst of the worst, the most disgusting, disturbing. But like you said, we do have to talk about it and realize that it's truly happening. It's not just in the movies. It's not just a story. It's happening every day. And if we just, like you said, put our head in the sand, it's never going to go away. It's just going to continue to get worse and worse. So thankfully, you're helping bring attention to it, not just with your movie, but with the foundation and helping other foundations and charities and stuff that are working with it. What's your ultimate end goal with your foundation in particular? What's your ultimate end goal with it?
To eradicate child prostitution in Nevada specifically, but then also branch that out to the West Coast, branch that out to then again to the Midwest and to the East Coast, and then eventually, hopefully, internationally. Again, when you get into this world, we spoke a little bit before the recording of it gets into a very dangerous area because this makes so much money for places. So if you were to find out, let's say a corporation made most of their money on child trafficking, that could put up a very huge target on somebody's head. So what we're asking for, and I am religious, so I just want to be honest about it, is that I ask for God's covering. You know, Jesus is covering in the situation because there is so much evil that the enemy wants to do. And the biggest thing that you could do is to destroy what God loves. And what does God love more than the innocent of children? In the Bible, there's one thing that Jesus says that really makes me, like, he says a lot of things, but one thing that really made me think deep is, and in this honor of this mission is, and they say it in Sound of Freedom, is that, but if you cause a child to stumble, that you would be better off with a millstone wrapped around your neck and tossed into the sea. That is the time that Jesus says that you're better off killing yourself than to destroy the young, innocent children. So for me, that's my mission. That's what I say. And I get that there's going to be people out there that are going to combat it and they're going to question it. And I question their motives too, but also hopefully give me a chance in order to give you some information of why we're doing this and why it's so important. Because the fact that we're living in Clark County with some of the highest child trafficking rates in the United States, we have to ask ourselves why. And again, I bring it back to, because it's so pertinent, is why do we have such the lowest general education rates and such the highest child trafficking rates? To me, that seems completely off. And the fact that the Governor, Joe Lombardo, and his team are actually working hard in order to end this and working with our foundation in order to figure out where our problems and our hotspots are and where can we do to eradicate this, it's a very huge hope. And those are the lawmakers, those are the legislation, those are the people that we want to work with, that we want to support, because all the other stuff can be rhetoric. But if you're actually standing against children who can't stand for themselves, you know, and look, some of the rates here are crazy. From 239, this is from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department from last year. 239 child traffickers were arrested last year.
Wow. 100, and that's what we know of.
100, what was reported. You would know that too, specifically, because there's a lot of this that's not reported. 133 of those children, they were saved. 133 children. 99 of those children were from Nevada.
Wow.
So let that speak for itself. It's not just they're taking kids from third world countries and bringing them here for people who are rich and coming to casinos to have a crazy wild weekend. They're plucking them from this county. They're plucking them from the state. That's a huge population. So I think what I ask, because a lot of people are like, what can you do? You tell us these horrific things, Joey, and what's going on in Eastern Europe and what's going on. What can you do? This is what you can do. First of all, I ask that the parents and that the churches step up to engage with your children. Be a part of your children's lives. Be a part of your friends' children's lives. Watch out, not just for yours, watch out for our community's children. You know, also there needs to be more statistics done. We have a very minimum amount of statistics that are even done. So we have very loose numbers that we can deal with. Like FBI says in 2023 that 86% of the kids that are trafficked come from CPS, from foster homes.
Wow.
But how much do we know now? That's in 2023, 24, 25. We need more funding. 2024, UNLV, made a statistic of how many people are trafficked here. About 5,000 per month are being trafficked here.
Oh my gosh.
Again, and that's the sums that
Yeah.
are reported. And so there is a huge epidemic going on here in Las
Absolutely.
Vegas, and our job here is to not necessarily scare people with propaganda and rhetoric. It's to energize and equip people with information and options of what they can do. So part of it is obviously working with foundations like ourselves, with the St. Jude's Children for Abused, Ranch for Abused Children, Neglected Children, Project Freedom, Freedom International. They're a huge proponent. So get out there, start working in the community, start looking out for the young children. And then the church is also stepping up to the plate, looking out for these children, creating after-school programs that are equipped with people who have background checks, that aren't just like, I love to hang out with children.
Right.
Like, guys, we need to start equipping our children with safe and accountable guardians. Because I mean, that's kind of our a big pot too, is that our general education is floundering because we don't have the money.
Yep.
And we're hiring possible predators.
Absolutely.
And so if you have predators getting in there and then they perpetrate and they get higher and higher up, they're the ones now admitting.
Yeah.
And now you have predators in the admin situation. So I think there just needs to be a huge overhaul in CPS. The education system needs accountability, and dare I say some sort of overhaul or coalition, because it's just not working.
Yeah.
You can't stay the 49th, 50th state,
right.
48th state in education, and then you're the highest in human trafficking.
Yeah, especially for children. Yeah,
it's an epidemic. It's outrageous. So that's why we're trying to do what we can.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear the governor's office has been supportive of you, and it's good too because he used to be the sheriff for Las Vegas. So, and I know he's friends with our current sheriff as well. So hopefully it help get in there with the police department as well. So,
well, I think the fact that they've connected us with the governor's public safety department, with Mr. Tim Robb, he has ordered a white paper for our X-ray initiative, and so they are absolutely wanting to figure out how can they get this. So let me talk a little bit about that.
I was going to say, can you explain what that is?
So the Lift the Veil initiative is. It's a bill to try to get legislation to grant us X-ray trucks. So like the Vacus M6500, there's a few different companies that make these type of trucks, but they look like almost like cherry pickers almost, but the arms come out and create like this sort of tunnel, and then you can get cars to go through them, and they use them at the borders, and they'll actually look using low-level gamma radiation X-ray materials inside and through the cars. So you're able to see hidden compartments that are hiding contraband, firearms, or organic materials such as humans, and they're able to tell the difference. And so you can get about 150 cars through these things at a time. They institute them at the borders, and they're mostly government contracted vehicles. So what we would really need is legislation for the Privacy Act to be able to instill them during we would start during Amber Alerts or high fluctuation times, like say if we had the Super Bowl here again or
F1,
F1 or something like that, because those are the highest times when human trafficking is attracting high-end clientele who want super devious, nasty stuff, as well as other people who are just trying to get normal prostitution of adult-aged people. That is, in some parts of our state, that is legal.
Right.
In Clark County, it is not legal. I think that is something to make clear on this, is that people think that they can come to Vegas and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Is not true. It is not legal for you to have prostitution here in Vegas. It is definitely not legal in the state or anywhere in the United States that we know of for you to institute child prostitution. So just so that we're clear, we're putting that on the table. Nobody can say, oh, we're not clear. No, it is very clear. You can't just get away with anything in Vegas. So these trucks would be able to allow us, we would have to put legislation towards the table. That is why the governor's team needs to be involved, and that's why our legislation team needs to be involved as well. And our foundation helps with that as well, because there is some privacy that would need to be instituted and waivers. But we do believe that if people were trying to help find a child, they're going to probably waive that right, especially if there's no health hazards with the gamma radiation and X-ray stuff. So that's our LTV initiative, the Lift the Veil initiative.
And I never even knew those trucks existed, so I'm glad. And especially like you said, we need it, especially during certain times here in Vegas. I wish constantly, but at least starting with certain times. So.
Well, it'd be great to know. Like our goal is we can institute them anytime. They're regional, so that if somebody is dealing with it in Nye County, San Bernardino, Kingman, whatever, it's a regional sort of system that we could use and instill, but also that we could start them at a stop of a dime. So the traffickers who use our I-15 in order to move, they would have to figure out a different way, or they would have to stop coming through here eventually altogether. So we need to figure out ways in order to combat this. And that I think is a wonderful way. And I think the governor's office actually agrees as well. That's why they're putting effort towards it.
I agree. It's an actual solution to the problem. And I think a lot of people, because it's so difficult and it's so massive, you can't really just say, oh, this is going to stop it right away. But I mean, that's a big help for it that I didn't even know existed. I'm sure a lot of people didn't. So I mean, that's amazing.
I didn't until I started looking into it, and I was like, oh my gosh, they actually have X-ray trucks out there that can do it. And there's multiple corporations that make these, and they're mostly contracted by the government. So all we would need to do is get them to be able to contract them over to here to CCSD. And I think that they would be more than willing to, honestly. We need to make a statement about it.
Right. And so I do also want to talk about the gala that's coming up in December. Can you tell a little bit about that, and how do people go? Do they buy tickets online? How does that all work?
Sure. So we'll have an Eventbrite, but you can go to our website or follow us on Stop the Traffic Foundation on our Instagram, or stopthetrafficfoundation.org, or you can follow me on Instagram, Jay Charafi. Also, you could just Google me, Joseph Charafi, Charafi. And just stay in tune with us. We are going to have tickets. It's going to be the first week of December. So we're going to have people coming out. We're going to do awareness, and we're going to have some guest speakers. But also, it is really a charity foundation fundraiser, so that we can really start making a huge dent, as we have been doing this year. And so we want to invite people out that are seriously interested in partnering and hopefully making a difference in Clark County and making Nevada safer for our children and families.
Absolutely. Well, I am so appreciative that you started this, and that you came on to talk about it, and hopefully we could just keep spreading the word. I know you're working, like you said, with legislators and governor, everything, and it just needs to keep and continue to grow, especially, like you said, in Vegas, but across the whole nation. So I'm very thankful for you, and I'm so glad you agreed to come on and talk about this. And I can't wait to see the movie too. I think that'll be great as well.
Yeah, maybe I could send over a screener so you could take a look at it. Tell me what you think.
I'd love to, absolutely. And just one more time, can you go over your website where people can follow you, everything, just to keep up with anything that you have coming up?
Sure. Yeah, you could definitely go to CharafiEntertainment.com if you'd like, or take a look on Google, just Joseph Charafi, and you'll kind of see all the spread. We're on YouTube, Instagram. I really appreciate all of your support. We're working on a documentary right now that's going to be pretty amazing, called The Problem in Vegas. And so we've already done some interviews with some high-end folks and in the authorities in the industry of child trafficking. And so please look out for that. That should be really exciting.
And hopefully just get the word out even more. And like you said, so people actually realize it's a real problem that's happening, and we need to focus on it and stop it already. So
it really is. Yeah. And Vegas Traffic, if you want to go check out Vegas Traffic, starring John Molinaro and Kevin Sanders. We have trailers and stuff on our YouTube, but that's going to come out soon. We're still trying to figure out where that's going to be distributed, because we're hitting all the top film festivals in the world, and we're getting a really good reception. And so we've had a couple of options for distribution, but we haven't picked them yet, because we want to kind of wait and see if we're able to get into Sundance. So
that'd be great.
If there's anybody out there, please send your positive vibes and prayers that we can get into Sundance.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd be amazing.
Yes, and it would really bring attention to it there, especially.
That's the biggest thing. It would give such a legitimately and help us with that platform. Just build it.
But the fact that you've already gotten into so many film festivals and everything is incredible. So.
And we've won Best Picture. I haven't mentioned all that because you can look it up. It's all on there. But we've won a couple of Best Pictures, and so we're excited to hopefully get into the bigger ones.
Yeah, and I believe it. I really do believe it, and hopefully. If people have a brain in their head, they'll go and support it and get you into all of them. So absolutely. But,
thank you, Corey.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for being on, and thank you guys for watching. Please, 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 support in any way you can. Go watch the movie when it comes out. I don't know, but if you can write to Sundance and force them, if you have any connections, just support in any way you can. Go to the website, the foundation. If you can go to the gala, just any way you can support. They really, really need it, and we need to get this to stop and to grow even further. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, never give up, always believe, and you will achieve. Thank you, and God bless.